Thank everyone for joining us, and just note that we're going to get underway in just a moment as we wait for a few more people to join us. So we'll be starting in just a moment. At time right now, so would just like to say good evening and welcome everyone to our career chat this evening. This is for our UK students and families, and we want to spend some time talking about just what's available in the way of services and career support for both our continuing students and our new graduates. And we want to acknowledge just the challenges that have emerged with coronavirus pandemic, and just the way the landscape has been altered within the last 2 months. So we're grateful for all who are joining us. Just a couple quick notes as we're getting underway. First, we're recording this, so we will post this to the Stuttgart Career Center website, and it'll be available afterwards for viewing. So if you need to break away early or want to share it out with friends or colleagues, you'll definitely have the opportunity to do so. Another point we'd like to make at the beginning here is we welcome questions throughout this presentation. So please feel free to use the chat feature in Zoom as you have questions that you'd like answered, and we'll try to address those as we move through the presentation tonight. We are trying to avoid questions verbally, just so we don't have people talking across each other as we move through the content. So again, welcome, and we're so glad to have you with us. So I think our next slide here, just a quick statement to the group on if anybody is joining us tonight who are differently abled or just have need for any type of accommodation, we are happy to provide that after tonight's presentation. So you'll see a contact email address there, and we're happy to make those accommodations. And you see a photo at the top of the slide there. That's just the James W. Stuttgart Career Center building. So that's our main UK campus career center. And in more normal times, we're open throughout the week in that location. We have moved services online since the middle of March due to coronavirus pandemic. But you'll see contact information there. That's still a way to reach us, and you'll have contact information for the presenters tonight. So just wanted to note those things as we begin underway. Next, just a quick roll call of the presenters you'll be hearing from tonight. My name is Ray Clear. I'm director of the Stuttgart Career Center, and been on board at UK for about 5 years. I have been in the field for about 15, working in university career services. You'll also tonight be hearing from Beth Austin. Beth is Associate Director for Career Advising in the Stuttgart Career Center. Also, you'll hear from Rachel Brand. Rachel is Assistant Director for Employer Relations and Community Partnerships in the Stuttgart Career Center. You'll also hear from Amanda Shagney. Amanda Shagney is Associate Director for Career Services for the UK Alumni Association. And then overseeing our chat tonight and moderating questions, we have Nancy Stevens in the UK Parent and Family Association, and Nikki Jenkins, also of UK Parent and Family Association. So we're grateful to them for overseeing and moderating that chat tonight. So that's our group, and we'll get underway with our presentation for this evening. And so we're going to start by just talking about what is available in the way of support for those students who are going to be returning in the fall, and likewise those new graduates. It's been a spring semester unlike any other in memory, and we want to acknowledge that and really at this point provide just that reassurance to you all that we're here. We might have moved services from our physical location to online virtual delivery, but we're very reachable, and we want to be there to support both those continuing students and those new graduates. And we've actually made a change in our service mandate for the office, and that is that we're extending services for those 2019-20 UK graduates for a full year following graduation. So what does that mean? That means that they'll have appointment privileges. They can book with us online or call our office and go through our phone tree. They can email us, and they'll have access to all office services that we provide. And if and when we're back on campus and physical location, that'll apply there as well. But we feel that it's more important than ever that there be career services support in the current labor market with the challenges that have ensued from coronavirus. So we're happy to provide that service. And likewise, as we've moved services online, we have a full slate of online virtual career readiness programs that are taking place throughout these summer months. And at least weekly, if not more often, you'll see webinars, tutorials, presentations, all those types of services that are presented by the Stuttgart Career Center and campus partners. So you see a link on the screen there for where you can access those. If you go to the Stuttgart Career Center website, you'll also see it featured on the home screen. So whether you can catch us live like tonight, or whether it's viewing a recording afterwards, we encourage you to take advantage of resources and services. And on the screen, you're seeing just a couple of photos. One is from commencement last year. We thought it was appropriate for the theme of tonight's presentation for students and families. And then whether you're living in Kentucky or whether you're elsewhere tonight, one thing that Kentucky, and specifically our governor, Andy Beshear, have been doing since coronavirus outbreak is adopting the color green as a color of hope. And you're seeing a lot of public spaces in Kentucky that have really taken that to heart, and they're backlighting different buildings with green light just to echo that feeling of hope and that we will get through this. And what you're seeing on the screen there is our W.T. Young Library, our main library, with the dome lit in green. So we really like that. I think it's kind of emblematic of what we hope to accomplish tonight with helping you all know that it's going to be okay, and we're going to be there with you as you navigate this job market and whatever your postgraduate plans might be. So I think we'll move on to our next slide. And we are going to start with just not trying to avoid the obvious as far as the raft of bad news that we've had in the last 2 months. You know, we've had, as you see in that first chart there, unprecedented job losses that we haven't seen in the US in decades. And we know that those have continued. And we know that some sectors of the economy have been hit harder than others. But what you're seeing in that first chart is roughly 14.7% unemployment as reported by the federal government on May 8th. So we are not sure what that number will look like when the next monthly jobs report comes out early next month. But we know that it's been rough, it's been bad, and some sectors have been impacted more significantly than others. The latter half of the screen there, you're seeing a report from the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. And this is a survey they administered to members just on how they've been responding to coronavirus pandemic as far as operations and their business lines. And I won't go through every stat there, but the dominant theme here is that they've seen, you know, reduction of cash flow and revenues, and they've in many cases cut back on operations, and in some cases furloughed or laid off employees. Now, this survey was of some 400 business owners, and it was heavily tilted towards small business owners. So I give that as context as far as what you're seeing on screen. But I do think that this trend has played out across the larger economy, and we know that it's impacting, you know, the job search strategy of our new graduates. It's impacting our students that are continuing as far as internship and job offers that they might have had since late fall semester or earlier this spring that have been, you know, rescinded or suspended because of the uncertainty about the business climate. So we're having a lot of conversations with students right now about how do you adopt a backup plan? What can you do to still use your time wisely over these summer months in spite of maybe seeing an internship that you had lined up rescinded, or seeing a job offer that's been suspended or also rescinded. So know that our staff are here for those conversations, and that they are expert in helping you navigate those waters. So I think we'll go to the next slide. And this is my last sort of like reality check bad news type slide for tonight, and we're going to move more into strategy after this. But this is a chart from LinkedIn where they've been tracking hiring and job losses in the economy. And what you're seeing on the screen is April of 2019, March of 2020 compared to April of 2019. So roughly a year ago versus now. And what you're seeing here that I think is most important is that there's been a heavy concentration of job losses and layoffs in sectors of the economy most directly impacted by coronavirus, namely recreation, travel, tourism, those industries that rely on people moving more freely. We see companies like Disney that have taken a significant hit because theme parks right now are shuttered, and there's just very little in the way of recreational tourism. And so those account for a significant portion of job losses in the economy in the last 2 months. And then you're seeing, ripple effects across other sectors, and you'll see many of those on screen. I was working in career services during the last economic recession, and I think some of the advice we gave then does still hold or is still relevant. But this is, I think, the thing that's unique about this downturn has been the speed of it. We've not seen something like this probably in 100 years in the United States as far as, a pandemic event. And so the speed of this is what's got everyone, I think, really scrambling and really trying to figure out how to respond. But the advice we give in times like this often is there are certain industries where there's a greater level of job security and it's harder to reduce. And chiefly those tend to be government occupations, federal level, followed by state, and then in many cases, local government. Now, it's not to say that there can't be losses there, but those tend to be areas that are receiving funding or that are themselves the funders. And so they tend to be last in line when it comes to reductions. Likewise, we've seen some furloughs and layoffs in healthcare, so don't want to ignore that. But healthcare also remains a very stable pocket on the whole in the larger economy, because essential services, whether it be healthcare, safety, and emergency response, those are areas that government and all areas are going to safeguard as long as they reasonably can. So those are industries that we've encouraged our students to consider and think about as long as it lines up with their career plans and what they wish to do. And so when we're talking with these new graduates and these students who are continuing and joining us again next fall, we've tried to point towards what are resources that are available that are really tracking where jobs are, where opportunities are, and how they can tap into those opportunities. And as we move through the presentation tonight, you're going to receive additional guidance from Beth and Rachel on this. But one resource I'll point you towards is a running list that LinkedIn is maintaining of who's hiring. And you'll see that URL on screen. But that's updated daily as far as employers that are still actively hiring in this time period. And this list tends to be dominated by a lot of your supply and production groups. Think about your big box retailers like Walmart, Kmart, Kroger, and Amazon. So think about a lot of those that are in more of the essential category right now. And then also, you'll hear us talk tonight at multiple points about Handshake. And Handshake is the enterprise software platform that UK uses for career management. So it does a lot of things. One of those is it's our job board. So we're posting positions, jobs, internships, co-ops, all types of opportunities to Handshake on a daily basis. And it's updated. These are all pre-screened jobs, so we make sure that we can screen out fraudulent opportunities and things like that. But that is one thing we've done since the coronavirus onset is we created a single link in Handshake for in-demand hiring. and you're seeing that link on screen. All UK students have Handshake accounts that have been set up for them, and this includes those recent graduates. And if you've never activated your account, it's as simple as navigating to UKY Handshake, and then once you click on the link blue login, just log in like you would to your email or your My UK, just your link blue credentials. And once you've activated your account, it'll be easy to get in the future. But you can input that URL you see on the screen, and you can go to that link where we have those in-demand opportunities that are fast-tracked. So that's something to make note of. So I'm going to conclude my section really quickly by just saying that on the side of strategy, you're going to hear tonight us talk to you about beyond in-demand opportunities. We do find that there's going to be more interest in this current time period in service opportunities, that is gap year, whether it be Peace Corps, Teach for America, AmeriCorps, programs like that for students who maybe thought about those but have been on the fence. We're going to talk about giving those full consideration. We're going to talk about graduate school as an option. And we always qualify that by saying that graduate school is a good opportunity or a good option for a lot of our graduates. It's not meant to be the sole solution when you've got a tougher economy. One thing that I always say to students is that if you're uncertain about why you're going to graduate school, it is an expensive place to make up your mind. So, knowing why you're entering a program and what your career aims are is still really important. But you'll hear us talk about that as we move through this tonight. I think I will pause and see if we have any questions before I hand this off to Beth. Looks like right now we do not have questions. So I'm going to turn this over to Beth Austin for our next section.
Thanks, Ray. So I did want to start out by sharing that I am looking at the implications of COVID-19 from a dual lens. So in addition to my position as the Associate Director of the UK's Stuckert Career Center, I am also the parent of a May 2020 UK graduate. So I'm happy to share my perspective with you. Like many of you, when I sent my then 18-year-old to college in the fall of 2016, I had the typical hopes and aspirations and probably even quite a few assumptions for my child's future after graduation. I never expected to find that May 2020 graduation, we would be in the middle of a global pandemic where the most commonly heard phrase is social distancing. So I wanted to share with you some of my thoughts about what we can do as parents and families of UK graduates when we're facing the fallout of COVID-19 for the foreseeable future. So new graduates will likely lean on their parents and families more than they typically would and in different ways than we might have expected. So how can you provide that assistance to your family in times like this? Your family member being, each other, of course, and then the student. So I will share with you my ideas in SUPPORT, support. So starting with S, show empathy and accountability. So what I mean is your student is most likely grieving the loss of the end of their senior year, the loss of a traditional commencement experience, and the loss of other expected experiences in their final months of college. So this is definitely a time of high stress, anxiety, uncertainty, disappointment. But that being said, don't forget about the accountability piece. Encourage your student to avoid keeping their head in the sand if they have the tendency to do that. Not everyone does, of course. This is a real crisis, but students do need to be taking concrete steps this summer. And, there are companies that are hiring right now. And as I move on to you, I would encourage you to understand the power of encouragement. That's what I try to keep reminding myself as a parent. Students are no longer children, but there are children. They will always be our children. And they'll look to parents and families for answers, most likely. And as we all know, the answers are just not readily available right now, but encouragement is. So I try to provide encouragement to my student whenever I can. The first P then would be for provide a safe place to share. So providing a listening ear, a strong shoulder to lean on. And I also have to remind myself, provide space for my student not to share all the time. Sometimes they'll feel like sharing, sometimes not. So the safe space is there. The second P would be patience, patience, patience. So this is an extraordinarily challenging job market. Ray has just gone over some of those facts with us. We just didn't have time to predict and prepare for what a dire situation this is all becoming. So it's important to manage the expectations for when your student might be able to get a job. The timeline is just undefined. I mean, we don't know when things will go back to normal and what normal will be at some point. So O is for open. Be open to the reality that your student may not be able to land their dream job right away. They may have to take a less desirable job and then make strides as they can toward more of a dreamlike job that they had aspired for. I would say, reach out for the support that you need as a parent and a family member. This is a stressful time for the entire family. So some of us may be experiencing some of the stages of grief. So denial, for example, maybe not fully wanting to grasp the impact on our lives right now that this coronavirus is having. Maybe some anger, some strong feelings about the experienced loss. Maybe some sort of bargaining, like maybe just haphazardly applying for just about any job that they can. And when that doesn't pan out, sometimes we can move into depression, like when the plan doesn't come together really as we had hoped. And then there's some sort of acceptance that can happen. And I don't mean that we accept COVID-19 and that we think it's okay, but it's more in terms of owning the situation and making some new plans to move forward and continuing to explore the options. And that's what we are more than happy to help students with. And finally, T is for take time. Take time to celebrate your graduate or celebrate the achievements that your continuing student has had. Some of us expected our students to move to a different city this summer or travel or be involved in an internship. And we suddenly have more time together in a lot of cases than we expected. So try to take time to enjoy that connection. And then take time for self-care as well. I've mentioned stress a couple of times. It's really important to try to reduce the stress as much as possible, all of us. So I do want to thank you for making this meeting, attending this meeting tonight to show your support for your UK student. I want to check and see if we have any questions. I see no questions in the chat. So I'd like to now turn to Rachel Brand. She is our Assistant Director for Employer Relations and Community Partnerships.
Thank you, Beth. Sorry, I'm trying to switch our slides here. So as Beth said, I'm the Assistant Director for Employer Relations, which means I work with all of the employers that we work with on campus and now especially off campus in virtual situations. So when Ray goes over the economic outlook and when Beth says, have support, have some faith, there are employers out there hiring. I can speak to that firsthand because I work with them on a daily basis. And so we are working hard to spotlight some career services tonight for you and talk a little bit about the programs where we are actually connecting your students or students out there watching this. We're connecting you with employers and bringing those opportunities to you virtually. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just kind of going through a few resources that you can use through the summer and as Ray said, actually throughout the entire year after your graduation if you're a May 2020 grad. So Ray mentioned Handshake a little while back. So Handshake is our career management platform system. So Ray mentioned that you can search for jobs on Handshake. You can also attend employer events, attend information sessions of employers who are actively hiring, and you can also make an appointment with your career advisor. So if you are not sure how to tackle this new marketplace or you're not sure which positions you should be going for, you're just kind of needing somebody to talk to and a plan in general, we have career advisors that meet virtually with students. You can either make an appointment in Handshake, or you can drop in through our Zoom link. We actually are having drop-in hours as well. So there's lots of different ways you can get in contact with our career advisors. They are able and willing to help and support, just like Beth was saying. So they can do all of those things. Like I said, we do also have employers who are wanting to engage with students. So they are still actively trying to engage with UK students and graduates, either through maybe an information session they're holding about their company. We actually hosted an employer yesterday for a career workshop through Facebook Live. So there are lots of different ways. Those are just a few. There are lots of different ways that we are trying to connect with employers and get them connected to students, not just through job postings through Handshake. I do want to kind of reiterate Ray's point about immediate hirings. So we do have that posting in Handshake. If you didn't catch that link earlier, I think it's in the comments section, but you can also just search once you're in Handshake. You can go to the jobs platform in jobs tab and then just search immediate hiring, and that'll pop up right away. And you can see a list and a how to apply for each. They range from part-time jobs to internships and full-time jobs. So we just try to have that all in one place so that it's easy to access. So that is kind of just, there's so many other capabilities in Handshake. We could probably do a whole night just on Handshake, but those are kind of the quick overview points that are going to be important going forward this summer. Whether you need some extra support from a career advisor, or you're really starting to hone in on your job search, or looking to connect with an employer, all of those things can be found in Handshake. Other things that can be found in Handshake, but also on our website. Like I said, we are working hard to deliver some summer programming to help prepare for the job market, to help prepare for getting your resume out there, just preparing professionally in general. So you can find all of our summer programming at the website that you see on the screen. They range from career advisor-led workshops on how to kill your virtual interview, and then we also have employers come in and discuss what is going on in their world with COVID-19 and what they're doing to move forward or plans to reopen. So we have some panels going on as well. Lots of different programs that are really going to push your student forward and really get them going on whatever that plan looks like. And we're going to go over a few different options as well. Also talked about staying in the loop. So we talked about our immediate hirings that we are updating on Handshake, but you can also use a few of these links that you see here on screen. I've got the Handshake one up there, but we also have a few job sites that are keeping up to date on just who's still hiring, who's suspending those job offers or internship programs, and some details on those things. So we have all of these links here. The Muse is really good. We have a few others. So just kind of utilizing different resources, because as we've discovered, Beth said it best, we were not expecting this. I don't think anybody could have seen this coming when we started 2020. So really figuring out some resources that are going to be reliable, but also looking at a few different resources because information has just come so quickly in this world. Information moves quickly, it gets published in different places. So we just like to provide as many resources as possible to keep up to date on all things hiring and employers. So those are just a few resources and little spotlight on some of our services that we are offering, and we will continue to offer through the summer and through the fall as well. I want to take a look at a opportunity that you might not have heard of yet. This is a very kind of new space that employers and students are operating in. It's a space called micro internships. And I think these are relevant right now because some students have those job offers that have been either rescinded or maybe pushed off until July or even August. So we have a few months of time, or even just not having a plan right now, or even a student who their internship program for the whole summer got rescinded. So how do they get back on track? How do they make the most use of their time? That's where I think micro internships can come in. Micro internships are small temporary contract positions that run through different companies. Any company can start a micro internship, and they're just project-based internships, very small, usually between 2 weeks and 2 months. It can be anywhere between those, that time frame. And so that is, they're also paid. That is a big benefit. So if you are looking to kind of supplement income, supplement experiences, get out there and start networking, these are really good opportunities to get going on that. Also want to just highlight and mention that 98% of micro internships are remote work, which is going to be really helpful during this time where it's that in-person is not as appealing or not as available. Those are things that that are good things to consider during COVID-19 time. It also is a big benefit in networking. So even proving that you can work from home. In this new world, we might all be working from home for quite a while. So proving that you can work on these projects in the micro internship and kind of get your foot through the door with some of these companies is going to be really helpful. So I've told you all about micro internships. I know we all want our student, or if you're a student, to do them. So I'm going to tell you how to get one. You can go search and apply for micro internships through our website that we have here on screen. UK partners with a company called Parker Dewey. They are the experts in micro internships. They advise employers on how to structure them since they're very new, and how to get the appropriate pay scales and get the appropriate timeline for the project that they're looking at. So we have a really good relationship with Parker Dewey, and we can get you set up with them. So the screenshot you see above is actually just a screenshot from our website. So you can create a free account as a student and go in and apply for different opportunities. As always, if you do need help getting this set up, or you're just wanting some more information, student can make an appointment with a career advisor via handshake, or just use the drop-in hours to discuss this opportunity. But we just thought that it was worth highlighting in case you're looking to supplement time, experience, get some experience on your resume. So with that, I'm going to check and see if we've got any questions in the chat box. Don't have any at the moment, so we are just going to turn it on over to Amanda Shagney. She is from the Alumni Career Services Office, so she's going to talk to you a little bit about that.
Thanks so much, Rachel. I'm with Alumni Career Services. Alumni Career Services offers a variety of programming and one-on-one career counseling to our alumni population. I'm going to share the link to our website in the chat box now. Feel free to check that out. We do have a variety of different options for alums. We define alumni as 12 plus academic credits, so you don't have to have graduated to take advantage of some of the resources and benefits that we do offer. For life and active members of the UK Alumni Association, that membership package includes 2 free alumni career counseling one-on-one appointments. Next slide, Rachel. During this time, we've opened up quite a bit of our programming, and I'd love to tell you about it because parents are also welcome to join us. The Central Kentucky Job Club has been going strong since 2013. We do this in partnership with the Fayette County Cooperative Extension, and we're excited to announce our new partnership with UK Temporary Employment Steps. They're going to be joining the planning team with that. Due to COVID-19, we've moved online. ukalumni.net/job club will get you to the schedule, and I'll pop that into the chat box. But we'd love to have you join. Main speaker rotates every other week for that, and we always share active job leads. So be sure to register via the Zoom link to get the newsletter with active job leads. Next Thursday at lunch, we're going to host a virtual networking program right here in Zoom, video and audio capacity preferred for that, but you can, I don't know if anyone else is extroverted, but I've been lonely lately, so you can meet up with fellow extroverts and introverts alike and meet some new folks to add to your professional network. And we're excited to announce on June the 3rd, we're going to host an alum, Trey Mayer, who's Director of Microsoft Business Solutions at HMB in Columbus, to do a webinar for us on working remotely in a connected world. And he's going to give us some tips and tricks on using Microsoft Teams, which is more popular than ever in the corporate workplace. And he's going to talk about the future of work and what, now that many employees are working from home, what that might mean for the future of the workplace. So we would welcome you to join for these programs. Thanks, Caroline, for popping that into the chat box. We'd love to have parents and students join. These are all free of charge from the Alumni Association. Next slide for me. And then our offices are off campus, currently closed due to COVID-19, but we are working remotely from home, and we're offering career counseling via phone, email, and Zoom video conference. And you can get in contact with us by emailing ukalumnicareer@uky.edu. Thanks so much. Ray, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. It's such a valuable service. They're our closest partners when it comes to continuity of services for our recent graduates and alumni body. So lots of great support there with Amanda and Caroline. So we're closing in on the end of our scripted remarks here. Want to make sure you all understand how you can stay connected with us and the campus as you move through the summer. The dominant question that we and all of our colleagues have been getting from our students, our new graduates, our parents and families is, will UK be back in session close to normal in the fall? And the answer to that is it's still being determined. There's so many factors at play here when it comes to the status of coronavirus containment and just what we can do to reasonably assure safety and still advance our mission. So what you're seeing at the top of the screen here is a link for the official campus updates when it comes to coronavirus and what they termed campus restart. So do monitor that throughout summer for the official word. When it comes to some of the partners that you've met tonight or become reacquainted with, there is a Cat Chat newsletter that is issued by the Parent and Family Association. And you'll see a sign up link there that you can use to be added to that email distribution for that newsletter. So definitely encourage that. It's a wonderful newsletter, contains certainly events and programs that Career Services is promoting, but also the wider campus, all of campus life. So lots of great content in the Cat Chat newsletter. And then for all of the participating units tonight, we maintain active presence on social media. And so every one of the links you'll see there for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, we're on all those platforms. And in some cases, some of the units are on other ones too. So you can follow those. You can keep track of what's going on via social media. And it's a great means for doing that. So we definitely encourage that. We really appreciate followers as we're trying to share out information and news and events. So those are the main ways to keep track of what's going on. We want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And we are going to hang around for a few minutes in case there are questions that we can field here at the end of the presentation. But again, thanks to our partners in UK Alumni Career Services, the Parent and Family Association, and thanks to my colleagues Beth and Rachel for tonight's program. So let's see if we have questions that have come in here in the last several minutes. Okay. Let's see. Looks like we have a question on the Facebook page. So the Facebook page, you're seeing, I think, a link there. Thank you, Nikki and Amanda. You're seeing Facebook page there for the Parent Family Association. You're seeing the one there for Alumni Career Services. And I think in a moment we can post the Stuckert Career Center page as well, just so you all have ready access to each of those. Those are updated certainly weekly and pretty close to daily as far as new content and all that we've got going on. So good question. Thank you. Thank you for that. And we will stand by if there are any more questions. I'm looking right now, it looks like it's about 7:39, so we'll definitely remain online for a couple more minutes here in case there are questions. Yeah, another good question. So asking if the students know who their advisor is. So we do not have assigned career advisors for the student body. It is whomever the students would like to meet with. If they schedule with us through their Handshake account, they'll be able to see all the advisors and when they have schedule availability, and they can just book there. And if they have a particular career advisor that they really link up well with, or just have a good rapport with, they can continue to request meetings with that career advisor, just so they have that ability. And then I'll note too that we have a dynamic and vibrant advising community at UK. And so also there are academic advisors working closely with our students, and they do have an assigned primary academic advisor. And so for those, this is probably more relevant to those continuing students and the new graduates, but the academic advisor is a primary in that case, and they can consult with them on lots of topics related to their academic progression, and that's naturally going to lead to career questions in many cases. And then seeing questions about maybe walking through explaining the appointment process, resume support, and jobs hiring now. So the appointment process is going to vary based on the individual student, as far as we have a number of main topics that students can book appointments for. Those are going to range from resume development to interview prep, to online career assessments, to salary negotiation. So it runs, and that's just a handful. I think there are at least 9, if not more, 9 or 10 appointment categories right now. And so the student can self-identify what service they're seeking, and the career advisor will help them. And in some cases, they may come in or may link up for resume feedback, but it might naturally lead into a discussion about internship search or a job search strategy. So they'll have a good session with the career advisor, and they can solve tackle multiple questions in that session. And when it comes to resume help, we have templates that are available on our website. And then we also, it tends to be a highly individual type of appointment as far as that resume build. So staff are standing by to help with that. It's our most requested service across all of our service lines. And with respect to jobs that are hiring now, I think that Rachel had mentioned a few resources, namely Candor and the Muse. And then I think I'd mentioned a running list that LinkedIn is maintaining of in-demand hiring for jobs. And so those we definitely point students towards and new graduates towards as ready resources for knowing what's out there. We definitely help students develop strategy, and any new graduate, I think that strategy is going to involve utilizing job boards. But our general advice to those new graduates is job boards should be part of their strategy, but that's a passive approach when it comes to navigating the job market. We still recommend active networking. We recommend having a strategy moreover than the reviewing job boards. And so we think that sites like Candor, sites like the Muse and LinkedIn, they can really inform a search strategy, so that instead of passively applying for opportunities that are posted, they can really zero in on employers of interest and determine whether or not those employers are actively hiring, or whether they're more in a suspended state right now while the economy is going through the current cycle. And then another question here, are all of our services available now and during this summer? Yes, there's continuity of services across this spring and summer time period. And that'll extend, into the new school year in the fall. But staff are available 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then you'll see us hosting different events that occasionally occur evening time and other pockets of the day. So we definitely want to make sure that the message is out there that Career Services and Parent and Family Association, UK Alumni Career Services, it's all open, and we may not be in our physical location, but we're still eager to help.
I will just add to on the question about employers and just knowing who's hiring. Fantastic resources that Ray mentioned again. I would also just say, going back a little bit to some of the programming that we've been putting out on Facebook Live. So that's actually through our Stuttgart Career Center Facebook page that was linked in the comments. If you go back in those videos, we have a few different employers on there that have said in the videos, in the panels, in the chats, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Here's what we're hiring for. So if the student goes back and watches those things might have changed a little bit with COVID-19 and reopening and those types of things, but those are still employers and recruiters that are eager to connect with students, so much so that they've dedicated their time to sit on a virtual panel. And like I said, all of them have said, please connect with me on LinkedIn. So if a student is wondering, well, how do I network in this space? That might be a good place to start, because it's an open invitation and they can just say, I saw your Facebook Live with the Stuttgart Career Center, and then kind of start the conversation from there. That might be a good icebreaker. So you can find all of those recorded videos. We actually started those back in April, so you can actually find all of those in our Facebook Live if you just click videos, and you can see all of those in there. So that just might be a good place if a student's nervous to start.
I'd just like to echo Rachel on, despite no shortage of bad news on the economic front in the last 2 months, we continue to receive inquiries from employers interested in engaging in hiring. This week alone, Rachel and I have connected with the U.S. Government Accountability Office, which is a large independent federal agency with offices not just in D.C., but the alumni we spoke with is in Atlanta, and they're in Dayton. They're all over the country, and they're actively sourcing interns and people for full-time opportunities. And then earlier today, we had a good exchange with Deloitte, international finance and accounting group who have multiple business lines. So we know that despite lots of tough news out there, but there still are pockets of opportunity. And I think we'll just give a last call for any final questions before we close out this evening. We appreciate everyone joining us. We hope wherever you are that you're getting some sunlight. We've had kind of a rainy last couple of days here in central Kentucky, and we're seeing the sun peeping out, so it's a welcome sight. Okay. Yes, thank you. We want to thank everyone who has joined us tonight. We appreciate the chance to share information, and we appreciate the exchange. We have a wonderful group of parents, family, and of course students and new graduates. So it's our privilege to be able to support them. So want to thank everyone for attending tonight. I want to remind everyone we're going to post this. It'll be available as a recorded presentation on the Stuttgart Career Center website. And we hope you all have a great evening and a great end of the week. So thank you all.
Thank you.